forth, or the other way around. Or the other way around, right? You want to actually tell them to represent in a freeze frame a situation where they show a good use of cell phones, social media, and so on and so forth. A language function would be asking and providing info. The grammar could be interrogative sentences and declarative sentences in the present simple. Okay, I'm trying to use general terms regarding grammar to make sure that it matches any language. Okay, so this could be English, this could be Spanish, this could be French, whatever. And whoops.
Oh, whoops, 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 whoops.
Okay, and that would be it. Okay, so could you do that? Could you, in your, if we split into breakout rooms, and we may, and in the groups that we're going to do it randomly, in the groups that you are, could you decide on 3-4 faces or miming what would be a situation where kids are using sustainably ICT, cell phones, and so on, or the other way around, to make sure that you use a sentence with an interrogative sentence, with a declarative sentence, or the present simple, and or a present simple. Could you do that in 5 minutes? Are you up for that? Any questions? Do you understand what you have to do? Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think it's clear? Yeah. Okay. So let's go for the breakout rooms. I'm going to do, how many are we? We're 14. Let's make 3 groups. Would that be okay? Okay. So let's go for it. I will send you a message when the activity is about to be over. Okay. So 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Okay, so everybody should have a group assigned. Hi there.
I came back at the first.
We
This-
cannot hear you.
We still want to stay in the breakout room, I think.
Okay. How was the conversation in your groups? Can you start commenting?
We started with a conversation with a question. So in the restaurant, someone look at the phone and not engaging in the conversation. And the other person is trying to engage him or her in the conversation. So we just assume that we are friends. At least we know each other instead of strangers in the restaurant. Right? In the restaurant, you don't talk with stranger. He or she's on the phone, it's their business, right? So we start to role play a little bit, and we figured out our generation, people of our age, we cannot multitasking, look at the phone and talk at the same time. But the Gen Z, they are pretty good at multitasking. They can do many things at the same time. While we cannot. So that's one conversation manual, and I just shared part of what we're doing. Manual added more to.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. Yeah, I find it very, amusing to see how many things adolescents can do at the same time. I mean, it's wonderful. I mean, I find it very challenging to have one conversation in texting, and they could be having, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 conversations at the same time. It's something I have done a survey on. I mean, how many conversations can you do at the same time? And they would say, some people would say 15, 16, and follow a conversation. Wow, that's wonderful.
Different talents.
Yeah, absolutely. We have one of our professors, for me, it's really a reference for me in Spain. He's called Daniel Casani. He's a very important professor in Spanish language, linguistics, and paralinguistics, and so on and so forth. And he says that the last maybe 2 generations or 3 generations have been the generations that read the most in human history. I mean, our students, maybe they don't read what they should be reading, but they read and write the most in human history. And that's something to celebrate. I mean, I didn't read that much when I was 14 or 15, right? And they do lots of reading. Yeah, okay. They read messages, they read blogs, they read these kind of things, but at least they have that skill. I'm checking the rooms. Okay, is everybody here already?
Yes.
Yes, right? Okay. So, okay. So can we quickly share what you did? Can everybody, except for group 1, for room 1, can everybody switch your cameras off so that we only see group 1, room 1? I'm switching off my camera. Only room 1, please.
I don't remember what room was I in.
Your room is 1.
Juan.
Manu, you want to share again? Are we supposed to act out what we're doing? Hi, Manu, how are you doing?
Yeah, I was waiting for some people to come out. It's only 2 people?
We have several more, but I think Manu and we talked a little bit more.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
The talking people.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yep, sorry.
no, could you represent your freeze frame, the one that you agreed to do, even if it's just you 2?
We rephrase what we agreed to do.
Yeah, the freeze frame that you agreed to do. For instance, Manuel is going like that. What was,
Yeah.
did you decide?
Hi, Manuel. Well, here's what we did. Hi, Manuel. How are you doing? It's good to have a
Okay.
lunch with you.
So I was busy. I was like distracted by my phone. How are you?
You know, no worries. All right. I'm just wondering, how are you doing? Long time we didn't see each other. Finally, we have time to have a lunch together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay,
apologize. You
super.
know, like cell phone, it's my life now.
Okay, fantastic. So you have an idea of what the freeze frame technique is all about. Remember that this is applicable to any kind of activity you might think of, okay? Anybody would like to comment anything? Any comment about the emotions, about, I mean, how did you feel about having these kind of activities and miming among people you don't know? Because this is one of the issues you will definitely have when you're using drama in the classroom. Whether we're talking about primary school, elementary school students are normally less shy, though you do have some issues as well, and you need to generate that emotionally safe environment. It is very important in the case of adolescents that you build up that, because most of the adolescents, if they don't feel safe, they will not act out freely when we're talking about something like this, okay?
Yeah, we're
and it's
talking
also
like,
very,
sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying, like this week, they have an assignment that they have to be recording themselves, like using vocabulary in the target language. And some of them that were really great at that. And they were like even willing to share with everyone. And like 1 week later, I'm still waiting for 2 or 3. That is like, no. You can give me a 0, but I'm not going to be recording myself. Even I say, you know, you can do like a slideshow, you can take pictures and not be in the video, but I need to hear you speaking the target language. Some of them did it like that, but still I have a couple of them that is like, no. So
Yeah, of course.
It's tough. And I think like in my classes, they feel good and they're like very relaxed and we have a lot of fun and everything, but still they are very concerned about not being perfect or what will other people think about my, in this case, my Spanish. Okay, even all of them are pretty much the same.
Yeah. It's the concept of face. I mean, that's exactly what you were saying, right? I mean, how people see me. That's kind of the most important thing for an adolescent. It's not just how do I look, but how does the rest of the people look at, I mean, see me, and that can be a very big challenge for almost anything. But if we're talking about drama and acting out, that's very important. Okay, could anyone explain what are the 3 frames of the no, not 3 frames, sorry, free frames. When we're talking about different types of activities, and one of them was a freeze frame. Imagine you are in a dynamic scene, right? A situation. Yeah, all right, perfect. Thank you so much. And a snapshot of that thing that is happening, okay? So let me share the screen again. So that's the freeze frame, okay, and the feeling of it. So this thing about theater in the language classroom associated to content and language integrated learning was the result of a European program that we developed between, there were 2 phases. The one phase was Playing Clio, which was between 2017 and 2018, I think, no, 2016 in 2018. And then between 2019 and 2021, a number of organizations, I will show them now, we developed a European program on how to use drama to teach languages through content or content through language, which is, I think it's, I've always thought it is a two-way thing, okay? And the partners in that project was the Humboldt University in Berlin, the University of Edinburgh, the University of Helsinki, the Universidad de Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, which is in the Canary Islands, the city of Espoo, which is in Finland, Interacting Theater Company, which is actually the one that really led all the drama techniques and all the drama activities, and Europa Beratung, which was in Berlin, which is a management team. And these were the partners that, and we researched and we developed a number of techniques and a number of tools to actually take drama beyond just the game, right? It's playing, it's having fun, but for a purpose. And that purpose is, for instance, in the Playing Beyond Clio, the stress was put on assessment. How do we assess language and content when the kids seem to be just having fun? And that is a challenge, but it is definitely something incredibly serious, incredibly founded on theoretical principles, okay? And this was, the result was the Show What You Know events, which is a number of situations based on movies, based on theater, based on TV shows, using also some, let's say, dynamic techniques based on drama as well, to actually foster that interaction and actually generate those events where kids would be acting out whatever they have learned. The nice thing about them is that they are complex. At least not in Spanish, I think that in English it doesn't either, is complex is not a synonym of difficult, okay? It doesn't necessarily mean difficult. Complex means that you have a number of things happening at the same time, which is how life behaves, so to speak. I mean, life is complex, and sometimes we simplify the lesson too much. And kids in this Show What You Know events are encouraged to see learning as a complex thing and things happening at the same time, and the students, the learner, having a number of decisions to be taken while they are learning. They are based on theater techniques, but they are flexible, okay? I mean, as any teaching should be. You plan ahead, you have a very sound plan, but the sounder, the more sound the plan is, the more flexible you can be, right? And that flexibility, I think it's something you need to have, okay? And if you click on this link here, it will take you to the page for the program, the results of this European project, where you have a number of tools, okay? You have access to the webinars we had at some point, okay? But I would say that maybe the most interesting thing would be this, okay, which is the actual toolkit, where you would find very interesting resources. In here you have the e-box, which is translated to a number of languages, and including some tools for digital learning, okay? Something we've done today, for instance. So in here, I have already opened it. So here you have the English version of the e-box. And in here, as you can see, you have the different activities that they have developed, that we have developed, together with the different steps you should be taking to make sure that learning is happening. Remember that from the very beginning, this seems to be like kind of game, like a kind of playing, but it's not necessarily, I mean, it's fun, but we are doing serious business here. I mean, we are assessing, we are teaching already or planned ahead content, both for language and content, okay? So, so you do have the activities, but then I also find it very interesting, some complementary drama activities. If you ask me, I would say these are the ones I most enjoy, because you can use them for this project, or you can use them as a warm-up, or you can use it as a icebreaker, or you can use it, and they are wonderful activities, okay? Okay. All right. How does this work? I mean, how come? I mean, how do we make sure that deeper learning is happening when you are when you're teaching with show what you know events? What is it happening in there that makes it so interesting in the perspective of deeper learning? If you see this diagram, I mean, it takes you from the left side, which is probably the planning side of the teaching. You would have an idea from the very beginning where you're going, okay? But then if you have a look at the right side of the diagram, you would have what the kid would be doing in each moment, okay? So from new knowledge and existing knowledge, if you're thinking about a learning situation, something like would last something like maybe 10, 15 sessions, or a month, or 2 months, whatever your learning situation would last, you would see that these are the different stages, okay? So from new knowledge and existing knowledge, you would take your kids to developing knowledge through the collaboration and the scaffolding of the learning process, okay? When they apply that knowledge, it's when the knowledge starts becoming deeper, okay? They are deepening in their knowledge. They also transfer knowledge, and in the conversation, that's why, I mean, this kind of teaching where the kids have to talk to each other all the time, it will make sure that there's a transference of knowledge within the actual group, just among the students. And of course, that transference will make it more memorable, right? And students will actually learn in a more permanent way, so to speak, okay? So this is kind of the, let's say, the path, the show what you know events will take you. But of course, what the challenge here is the planning. Okay, I think that you cannot do these kind of things and expect learning to happen. Learning will always happen, of course, but I mean, the learning you expect it to happen, you need to plan ahead in depth. Okay, you need to have very clear what language you're expecting the kids to learn, what content, and where each one is going to be, and what the activity is going to look like, and so on and so forth. Okay, we are something like, what time is it? I would like to have some kind of 10 minutes, at least at the end, to have a small conversation, right? So let me go through this. This is just an example, okay? A TV commercial would be one of the activities you could be doing, okay? You have it here in the e-box. Okay. So in the TV commercial, you could be using an image, and they would need to generate some kind of an image that represents whatever. I mean, you could be selling an object, a product, but you could be selling whatever. You could be selling, as I said before, the French Revolution, right? And you need to generate some kind of a TV commercial for content, all right? A short movie or a song. The function, the language function would be persuading, and maybe you would associate, well, not maybe, you need to associate what language, what syntax, what phonology, what grammar you need to be associating to this activity. I mean, you need to talk about the mode in the language. Is it going to be spoken, or is it going to be read? Okay, what is it? I mean, you need to talk about that as well. And what is the actual written product? What is the language product? Okay, is it information search? Is it to write in a script? Is it a production? Okay. Okay. So the idea was to do some planning, but I think we have run out of time. Let me show you at least something I normally do for this kind of complex planning is we have a canvas. This is an idea I've taken for something called Conecta 13. Conecta 13, it's a research group in Spain that they have developed a number of strategies for effective planning. Okay, just having a canvas, and in the case of show what you know events, there are a number of things that you need to have in mind. I mean, for instance, the core standards we're teaching, but we're not teaching in a vacuum. We need to be teaching for state standards. So we need to have clearly in mind before we start, what are the core standards? What, I mean, is our subject going to be tested by the end? Is it going to be a standard test that our students need to take to make sure that while they are learning in this fun way, we're also making sure that we are going where the state wants us to go. We need to think about what is the product, what kind of show what you know event we want to be doing with the kids. Okay, if we zoom in, we would say, for instance, I gave you some instances in the case of students exchange information through introduction and negotiation of meaning. It's one of the core standards here in Nebraska. You would simply say that, okay? I mean, we're working for this. And what is the language that we want to practice with the kids during this learning situation? Spoken short messages to persuade, interrogative sentences, simple declarative sentences, use of imperativo, for instance, the imperative sense tense in Spanish. Okay, that would be your decision, of course. Okay, I mean, this is not something you would always do. Okay, so but since we don't have time, let me continue a little bit more. Okay, this is just for the scanning thing. This was okay. I am already I have already covered everything I wanted to talk to you. I would spend the whole day talking about this. But I would like you to have some kind of a small chat at the end to ask questions or give your impressions. I would highly appreciate if you could give me some feedback. This is what the QR thing is about, and the link. If you could provide some feedback about the session, it would help me a lot to improve in the future. So any questions, any comments?
Can you share the slides? We do not have access to the slides.
Sorry, you don't. Oh gosh, maybe of course. Okay, give me a second and I will do it again. I'm sorry. I know what happened. So any questions, any comments? And it's not letting you? Oh, it should. Don't know what's happening.
Did you share the link? Can you share the link in the chat?
Yep, I will.
Thanks.
Oops, sorry about that. Thank you, Sylvia. Yeah, the thing about I think you already have the link, but let me share it with you again. It is really interesting. I highly encourage you to go to not only Playing Beyond Clio, but also to Playing Clio. Okay, if Playing Beyond Clio was kind of the second stage of a project that started long ago, and that has, I mean, I have used it both as a teacher and as a researcher, and they are both they have both very interesting, ready to use material. I mean, they are things that you do have the steps and you put it into practice. Any more comments? Anything you would like to say? Has anybody here used drama already in your lessons? And what was your feeling about it? I mean, how did you, how successful were you when you used it? Let me share the Playing Clio thing as well. Because somebody is, okay, Sylvia. You used it in primary. And how was it? How successful do you think you were? This is the second one, okay? This is for Playing Clio. In my case, every time I've used these strategies and other strategies, the feeling is that you connect better with your students, which is, I think, fundamental, especially in a very challenging subject, which is languages. I mean, remember that using a language when it's not your using a language anyway, I mean, speaking in public, and a classroom is a public place. Speaking in public can be challenging for many people, even in your own language. So just forget about it if you're doing it in a foreign language. So these kind of activities, if you manage to connect with your kids, it will definitely improve the language abilities and even the social skills of your students, I'm sure. Absolutely. I think I agree with you 100%. I think drama should be part of the teacher training path. And even for not only for beginning teachers, but also for in-service training, we should be doing drama very much. I was telling Crystal just a moment ago that I would love Interacting Theater Company at some point to do something here. And to, I mean, actors, when you see actors, people who are professionals about drama, doing activities for language learning, you see the power it has. So that's kind of ideal to me. I mean, I would love to do something related to that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Can I say something about the drama I apply in primary school? I think there are two aspects. One is the socialization. The student can enter and emerge in the role that they can practice. And the second one, they can build up their friendship as well, like acting in the role and socialize. And second is they apply the language in the real life scenario, which is what the language learning's ultimate goal for in learning a language. So I think it's really good. Yeah,
absolutely. I agree 100%. It's I think drama brings about something we lack in a very artificial context, which is the classroom. I mean, we need to remember that we're simulating real life. It's not real life. So in the context of a simulation, if you kind of generate a discourse where speaking in a foreign language makes sense, and that's why I talk about the willing suspension of disbelief. If your students are willing to suspend their disbelief in the foreign language, that's the magic. And I think drama has a lot to do with the magic of connecting people. And so thank you very much, Sylvia, for sharing that. I think it's wonderful. With primary school students, with elementary school students, it's somehow a little bit easier because they don't have that kind of a barrier, that emotional barrier that adolescents seem to have. But it's, in both cases, they are wonderful. Yeah, of course, I can share. Should develop the plots or ask students to write the plots. If you ask your kids to actually write the plots, I think you would take it to another level. I think it would be wonderful. The more the students do by themselves, the better. I think of course it would need some training. Maybe at the beginning, the scripts or the plots your students are writing, they're not probably the best ones you could write, but as they move along, remember that this is difficult to put in practice at the beginning. You need some time to develop some kind of strategies, and maybe you don't do it 100% at the beginning, and you only do it 10%. You start by getting them, I don't know, giving them some drama games, and then by the end of the first term, they would be more familiar with it, and then you can start with the whole thing. Yeah, it's true. It's true that the teachers also have that problem, right? I mean, it's time consuming. So if you have to develop all the plots by yourself, I mean, that would be very time consuming. Let me just, how do we do it? Can I share the slides, Crystal, with you, and then you share it with everybody?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. Then, because I was going to try and download the PDF and then share it here, but if you can do it, that would be wonderful.
Okay, I can do it.
That's wonderful. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed. I'm in UNL, so if you want, I mean, Crystal has my contact information. So if you need anything, I'm here just to help.
Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe some teachers can have it like as an anchor project. We can help students to develop the plot throughout their semester. When students finish earlier, or we have some time on Friday, and then it can be a small group project for the whole semester, or kind of project for the whole class or something. I'm thinking it might be very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the nice thing about this. It is flexible enough to be able to be adapted to whatever methodology you're using in your lessons. I mean, I was saying this is some kind of a continuum. You can do it just 10% and it would be successful, but you can use it to 100% and would be wonderful as well. So yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend.
You too. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for participation. And I think it's time for us to enjoy the rest of our weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's really inspiring.
Thanks a lot. Oh, I'm glad to hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you. 谢谢大家，这么愉快。
Oh, Suju, I forgot to introduce Guan Laoxue. She is actually the president of Chinese Language Teacher Association, a small interest group K to 12. So.
All right, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Sorry, I'm late.
I would have loved to attend your presentation back in July, but I was already in the Canary Islands. I was on my holidays there, so I couldn't. But I've seen some pictures. I've heard about the presentation, and it was a real success. Congratulations for that.
Thank you, thank you. You are the I just saw in your bio. You are the technical assistant at the Embassy of Spain in Lincoln, Nebraska. I think you have connection with the Embassy of Spain in Indianapolis, right?
The Embassy of Spain is in Washington, and then there are a number of offices, and there is one in Indianapolis, there is one in Lincoln, there is one in Boston, another one in Chicago. We have a network of offices all around the country. Well, not in every state, but I think it's a wide network.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah. Yeah. Last year.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Last year, I got the proposal from the embassy. I think one lady representing the Embassy of Spain in Indianapolis, and she would like to share some resources about teaching Spanish. So and
yeah, she might have been Pilar.
Yeah, I hope this year she can come back and join our Indiana Foreign Language Teacher Association annual conference through November 3rd to November 5th. So hopefully she can share more resources like a Spanish teaching library, something like that. So when
I'm sure. If you want, I can ask her to send you a message